What are the top wild cards for June 2023? Don't make 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out. More awesome content. Number one on a wild card list here is going to be Super Heavy Samurai. Now, what makes Super Heavy Samurai a wild card at this point? This deck's innovation, the excitement that players are facing out here for this, the level of deck building is what makes this deck on the wild card side of things. Now, the pendulum scales are universally busted, all right? Like, I don't care what you think. Most Yu-Gi-Oh players will agree. Wakashi and Benki, oh my Lanta, they are nuts. So, you know, how much of this can we use a splashable engine, you know? How much two-card comboing can we still do here with this? Does the FTK still work? You know, after the loss of Scarecrow, the deck and the innovators of the deck I've seen so many cool combo lines with this. How much of it's actually going to stick in competitive play, I'll have to wait and see. But innovation is at the absolute highest that I think I've ever seen. Compared to like any other deck in the game's history, I think that the fans of Super Heavy Samurai are going to keep pushing this deck to the absolute limit. And as more and more of these players test this deck out, I think that we're going to see some crazy things. So, I mean, we've already seen Emancipator Super Heavy. I've seen, you know, we've what was it? Earthbox with Machina stuff as well. These are just like little examples. Obviously, like you can try more original builds as well. You have so many lines of play that you can toss into this deck. It is so mind-boggling to me what this deck can do. So I'm actually super excited just to see what we'll have for this deck. So good stuff. Next up is Stun. Oh boy, Robbie, you lost all of my interest when you mentioned that cursed back row deck. Well, here's the thing. I'm always going to be a control player at heart. I'm always going to toss Stun probably into the wild card category because, you know, Stun is able to adjust, and it will have good formats, it will have bad formats. Unfortunately, you know, some of your formats are a lot worse than others, but Time Tearing Morganite with Inspector Border and a Fossil Dino turn 1. Actually, anything that Time Tearing Morganite can actually set up for you is probably going to be really good. Double Summon, you know, what is it? Ledger of the Ledgerman is actually an incredibly busted card in this deck. Let's see here. You got Inspector Border, Fossil Dino, Inspector Border, Thunder King Ryo. Thunder King Ryo, Fossil Dino. Those should be the only stun monsters that I think you should be playing. I did see one list, though, from a friend of mine that's playing the Water Barrier statue right now. They were so excited because, you know, yeah, obviously, you know, you can't play the Wind Barrier statue, but having access to the Water Barrier, actually any Water Barrier statue in combination with Fossil Dino, technically 6 stunners is good. You can also play Jowgen, to be honest with you. Jowgen does give you the free board wipe at the cost of yeehaw, discard out of your hand. I'm not too worried about the discard, honestly. But the big things you care about with Stun are optimizing ratios to find your thing. Probably an inclusion of a Kaiju, honestly, into the deck. As much as I want to go, maybe, you know, Kaiju is not going to be, you know, the best. Yeah, you're probably going to want to have some turtles in the deck so you can out anything that your opponent might actually be doing. Don't underestimate, you know, a good, strong turtle over an opponent's monster. Like, you do need certain cards to win you matchups, and I mean, Stun with some board breakers and evenlies can actually do that. Next up is TEARLAMENTS. Okay, hi Tier. What makes you deserve to be down here in the wild card sector? Well, I think that the format has actually kind of opened up enough at this point that you can kind of go, wow, what's happened here? Like, what has led to this dramatic change in things? And that's where we bring Tier into the equation here. I also have one friend that has been just plowing through infinite Kashtira decks. All right, like going 5-0 and plowing through 4 Kashtira players, I don't care what you say. That's a pretty impressive feat, especially playing TEARLAMENTS of all things. All right, a deck that's natural predator is Banish Machine. It's amazing what how this deck can actually kind of tech itself out here and round out these matchups. And obviously we don't have, Revolution Synchron, Fairy Tale Snow, all these little cheesy extra things that the OCG has to make this deck into an incredibly stronger monster. No. We actually kind of have to work for things out here. I think that Tier will continue to be in one of the most unique spots in the format, strictly because of its ability to be the RNG machine. Obviously, the ceiling is nowhere near what it was at its prime, but to the people out here that are, picking this deck up, are, playing with the Ishizu package in it, even though everything's already to 1, you appropriately manage your resources, well, congratulations. You have a very strong deck out here that can cover a lot of its bases. Also, this deck gets access to play the Kashtira package in it naturally. Once you start to see like more of these little merge hybrids with combo lines, there's some very scary things out here. Also, you can re-engineer the Scareclaw package into this too, depending on how you want to play. All right, I think we're getting a little bit too crazy out here, but it's something to consider. Next up is MATHMECH. Hi, Circular. How are you? Robbie, you didn't put MATHMECH anywhere else on any of these tier lists. What's going on? Why'd you do it dirty like that? Because once again, I'm unsure of how this deck is going to go. I think that seeing MATHMECH's overall presence in the metagame, yeah, 1 Circular sucks. I'm sorry that you lost that card, but kind of looking at how the rest of the format has gone right now, I think that the deck can still perform. The reason why the wild card exists is because we don't know how this deck's going to go. What innovations are MATHMECH players going to have to patch in here? To what extension do we expect to see this? I don't actually know. I think that it's really going to leave a lot to be desired, and deck building has never looked a little bit better. Obviously, going forward, Solomon Great just kind of got actually everything Cybers related. This was a hit to the Cybers archetype. Getting the amputation of Circular shenanigans actually really did hurt, and I'm very sorry that was the case of things, but you do have to understand that Circular was a busted card. I was kind of thinking they were going to have the Small World on the list, but to be honest with you, this was kind of the same approach of things, all right? Once you kind of amputate what you're going for here, this does its thing. But MATHMECH going to be in the wild card sector here, strictly because, hey, what Cybers good stuff lines can we go down? What, how will we adapt? I honestly think it's that. And what happens if the 1 Circular gets, stopped? It's not like you have Gamma or anything now to, stop the 1 of Circular, right? You wouldn't play the 1 of Gamma to try to stop the 1 of Circular, would you? You're not that bad at the game, right? Yu-Gi-Oh players be like, I have the 1 Gamma for your 1 Circular. Just get good, 5-head. And then last but not least here is Hero. Now the reason why I tossed Hero on this list is, this deck has always been kind of like Dark Law / OTK, and if Yu-Gi-Oh players are looking at Nibiru kind of storming back into the format here, how is Hero supposed to adapt? I do know that, Dark Angel is a card that many Hero players have literally adapted towards, all right? Like, it has been one of the biggest go-tos out here. But just kind of looking at how things are going here, I don't actually know. I think that, once again, Hero's in a little bit more unique aspect of things, but it's not as good as everything else in the meta. You know what I mean? Obviously, super poly, depending on what you're building into your extra deck, what your skill trees are for fusions. You have a lot of things to really consider here for that. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. I'm going to leave it in the wild card category strictly for now, just to see, hey, what else can we kind of do here? What can we bring to the table? And, yeah, also, hey, Hero players, Dark Law is probably the best card your deck has. I hope that, when you do get another round of support here, you'll get the chance to do something else. I really don't know. Somebody's going to be like, Robbie has no idea how to play Heroes. I have no idea how to play Heroes because I don't need to, because it's not really super relevant deck. Dark Law is just kind of one of those passive cards that just kind of does its thing, honestly. So what do you guys think about the top 5 wild cards out here? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.